What's going on, college football fans? We're back for another edition of the Mac and Murray College Football Show. We appreciate all the love on the socials. Go follow us there, TikTok, Instagram. Doing a lot more extras, breaking down film, other things that you won't see on this show. So make sure you go follow us there and then like, subscribe here on this channel as well. The numbers have been great. The views have been great for our first week. So we love you guys and we're excited for a terrific college football season. Here's the schedule for today. We're going to go through our top 15 teams after week one. We got actually something to judge against and really say this is what this team deserves to be in the spot, just not the what you did last season or what you did in the transfer portal. So that's going to be exciting. And then we're going to be breaking down the top games of the week. Week two, it's going to be another great week of college football. Emac, you excited for week two?
I'm ready, man. You know, it's always interesting. We were kind of going back and forth of this, and there was so much hype and promise and top 10 games. And then you get to week two and you're like, well, at least we're back. At least we get to see football, you know, at least we get that. But there's some quality games, and we're going to talk about those, some games that, you know, might shift the way you think about a conference or shift the way you think about a team. And, you know, I think that's always exciting, but it was always fascinating to me, you know, when we would open against you guys or open against Auburn and then you play Troy the next week, you know, it's just like, okay, well, let's focus on us. Let's focus on us. How can we get better, you know, as a team? I always think that is always super interesting. I think what also is very interesting is our top 15 here, brother, because you and I think what you said is very important. We didn't want to just, well, this is where they were in the preseason rankings. No. What did you do? What were you able to do, and where does that rank you? And maybe we should have moved some teams even higher, but that's where I am on this top 15 about like each and every week, like right now. It's almost like a power ranking, if you will, of what these guys are doing.
No, I view it as let's just completely throw out what week one of the preseason poll was. You still have to kind of bake into the fact, like, who's the coaching staff? Who do you have returning at certain position groups? So just kind of give you like a feeling of, okay, you know, maybe this team didn't look as good as week one as we thought they would be, but they're still going to be good. Clemson is a perfect example of that. I still believe in that roster. I still believe in Dabo. So like, they're not going to just jump outside the top 10 because they lost their first game of the season against someone that may be pretty high up on our poll. So it's balancing of, yes, taking into consideration what the roster looks like and kind of expectations heading into the season. Because we only do have a 1-game sample size. It's not like we have 2, 3, 4 weeks to kind of say, okay, we were wrong about our preseason. So you have to kind of still go with some of your gut before that first game, but also do take in the fact that, hey, we just watched some quality football. We watched some good on good. When I mean like top 10 teams going at it against each other. So you can judge how good a football team is. And hey, maybe that team was ranked too low heading into the season. So I really like our power rankings. I think it's a good one. Please let us know down below, who would you have in your top 15? Who would be your number one team in college football if you were doing your power rankings? All right, do you want to start from 15 and work our way up, or you want to go from?
Let's do that. Okay. Like the college football playoff, we're just going to reveal each and everybody here. Do you want to do it in fives? You're going to go one at a time?
Let's do it in fives, and we'll kind of talk about what we think in those five. So 15, Arizona State. 14, Illinois. Big game this week. 13, Michigan. 12, South Carolina. 11, Notre Dame, our one-loss team, Notre Dame. We have a few one-loss teams inside our top 15. Notre Dame right there at 11. Overall performances from all of them, I think you and I, we still like Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is going to get it going offensively. You know they're going to be really good on the defense side of the football. I love Marcus Freeman. You know, we saw last year they won a big game versus A&M, lost the next week, and then kind of reeled off an incredible run up to national championship. So I think Notre Dame will be just fine right there at that number 11 spot, even though they're 0-1 to start the season.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And it was a rock fight, right? I mean, it was a game-winning field goal with a minute left, so you don't want to punish them, you know, too much there. South Carolina, we saw start really, really hot, kind of flutter around, and then finish really hot. So how can they get that middle ground, continue to build there? I was really impressed with their defense. Thought that defense was going to take a step back. Michigan, we're going to talk about ad nauseum. Cannot wait to talk about them and excited to see this game they have coming out. And I'm excited to see Illinois. I'll be with them in person this weekend. They travel to Duke in a big matchup, ranked matchup there.
Mhm.
And Duke probably right on the edge. I mean, they won 9 games last year. They feel like they are much better offensively this year with Darian Mensah. We'll talk about that more. And then little Arizona State just hanging on. I think one thing that was interesting about our top 15, no Alabama. Are they gone? Are they out of the rankings completely?
Damn, did we not put Alabama in there?
Whoops.
What?
Uh-oh. Bye, Bama. See you later. You know what I heard too?
Damn, I didn't even notice that.
Reese Davis, who is an Alabama grad, proud. He said I didn't rank him in my top 25.
Ooh, that's a little aggressive. The stat
I mean, he
of
doubled down on it.
you know what the crazy stat is? They've already lost 4
I
non-ranked
saw that.
games.
I saw
And what, Saban lost like 4 in his career? I mean, we're not talking about
that dude's
ranked
a
games.
cyborg. He's the
We're talking
greatest
about
ever. He's the greatest ever.
the talent gap between Alabama and those teams, even Florida State. I don't know if I've seen like the blue chip ratio this year, but there is a number of big star gap even between those 2 teams, and it wasn't even close. If you missed that, make sure you go watch our recap show from yesterday as we break down what we saw in that FSU Alabama game. But yeah, man, that is not so bueno for Alabama. I mean, you know what's crazy? Like I sent mine to you, you sent me to yours, and we kind of figured out how we want to do it. Alabama wasn't even on my mind. That's how bad the weekend
Stinks.
was,
It'll be interesting to
which is
see
sad.
where they end up. It'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see. Speaking of Florida State, the Noles in the top 10, number 10. I presented that to you. How did you feel when I said that? You no quarrels at all?
No, once again, like I have to, and I hope all fans do too, get over the fact that last season was last season. These are new rosters. And you had a game in which you were dominant against a team that we all projected was elite. So yes, Alabama's out, Florida State's in a top 15, but man, they just checked off a lot of boxes: the physicality, elite quarterback play, elite playmakers on the outside, tremendous play calling on both sides as well too. So no, I walk away watching that film on Florida State saying that is a fast, legitimate team that's good in the places that you need to be considered to be inside our top 10. So no, I like them right there at number 10. And honestly, they might have been able to move up a little bit more, especially with that win.
I think so too. And again, it's such a because last year's just right there in your head, and you're like, okay, get rid of it, go out, go away, go away. And if this was, if we just got rid of last year and it was the playoff snub to here, you're like, oh yeah, top 5 team in the country. But that did happen, and we still, have that bad taste in our mouth. But I think they're going to continue to rise. We've got Florida at number 9. Texas fell to number 8, not terrible. Clemson falls to 7, and then Oregon at 6. We let Texas and Clemson hang on there because I do think you and I both really believe in their rosters. We think they played super high-quality opponents, and they lost by 1 touchdown. Like, it's not like they got aired out. I was watching ESPN, and of course I'm saying this because it's Clemson, but of course it happened because it was Clemson. They're saying, oh, LSU steamrolled them. They handled them. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Clemson had a chance to tie it at the end of the game. Like, what kind of game were you watching? But I get it, narratives and things of that nature. Of the rest of the top 10 there, who do you feel the most confident about making even steps to get in the top
You
5
talking
in
about
the
their
next couple
6
weeks?
through 10?
6 through 10 there.
Well, I will say this, like I'm more confident, we talked about in the show yesterday too, and I'll reiterate it. I'm more confident in Clemson getting it figured out than I am Texas. So definitely more Clemson there. Oregon, I still want to see their new quarterback going against quality opponents before I feel really good that Oregon has a chance this year. We'll talk about UF and their game versus USF, so we'll dive more into what that roster looks like, but I still think that's a good football team there at the number 9 spot. But I would say still through that 6 through 10, I would say Florida State, I'm still with you. Like, I got to put last year behind me because that was a really good football team and a really good win against Alabama. And I still am very high on Clemson. I'm not going to let that one game, that one loss kind of haunt me because guess what? That team they lost to, once again, is pretty high on our rankings. So I still think Clemson has all the pieces you need to make a run with inside the ACC and obviously a run to get to a national championship as well.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with all that.
All right, let's get to our 5 through 1. Number 5, my dogs at the number 5 spot. Number 4, Miami. The U coming in at 4. At number 3, Penn State. Number 2, Ohio State. And the new number 1 for the Mac and Murray College Football Show Week 2 edition is your LSU Tigers. They looked the part. They went on the road. one of the most hostile environments in the coun Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about this yesterday.
Uh,
Are they the new Death Valley? Like, for sure? Do they own the name?
breaks my heart.
I think LSU.
Kills me.
We did not talk about this narrative. LSU, the official Death Valley of college football. Clemson, you can't claim it. You can't claim it.
Hurts my heart.
I'm sorry, EMAC.
Lost in the Natty, lost at home. I'm not going to verbally say it, but I'll just agree with what you said. But we're still going to call it that. But it
Still call
stinks,
it.
man. All that junk I'm talking. I will say the fans were great, though. They were so loud. That place was a ruckus. It was incredible. And now we got to go to LSU's Death Valley next year. Can't wait, with a brand new starting quarterback. First game. Going to be awesome.
Well, LSU have a
wait
brand
to
new
talk
starting
about
quarterback
that.
too, though. LSU have a new
I
starting
know.
quarterback as
Thank
well.
goodness. Thank goodness. He'll even it out a little bit. But I think the reason we gave, thanks for bringing that up, by the way. I wasn't sad. I was really excited about this episode. Now I'm in despair and depressed all over again. But I think the reason we gave LSU the nod over Ohio State, because a lot of people probably like, what the heck are you doing? They went on the road and did that, and won that game. And if it would have been reversed, if Ohio State would have went to Texas and did it, they probably would be number one. But I think that matters. And I think there was some more competence right now offensively from those guys at LSU. And I was blown away by the defense. Like, I did not expect that at all. They're going to win a bunch of games defensively. They were physical. They had a game plan, and they attacked that thing. So that's why I thought LSU should be number one.
Yeah. I like Miami in this 5 spot. I think Miami has a lot of good things, a lot of big time places. Really good, the lines of scrimmage on both sides. That offensive line was terrific. The receivers looked better than what we were expecting. And then obviously Carson Beck is still in my mind one of the best quarterbacks in America. So you talk about elite quarterback play, elite offensive line play, really good defensive line play, and then just overall a good roster around that support. I think that's a team that obviously showed us a lot against Notre Dame this weekend. And I know that was a 1-score game, a 3-point game, but they dominated. I mean, they absolutely dominated that football game against a good roster. So
that's
I
what
really like Miami.
Yeah, that's what was so funny to me. So we had a couple of people yesterday, because I said Miami cruises to victory, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Cruise? They didn't cruise." It never, ever, never
felt close.
Felt like it was out of hand. It never felt like it was in question. Excuse me. Where it just felt like Miami was winning. It felt like they were in total control, even when it was tied. Just because I believe in Carson Beck that much, he's handling the situation, and it felt like Miami knew that too. That's why I think they didn't separate a little bit. They're just like, we'll just win this game and get out, hide everything still, not show our hand, and we'll be ready to go, and we'll get out of this thing. So I loved it. I love the game plan. I love the attack, and I'm excited to see how much better, that side of the ball can get. Same thing with the defense.
All right, so that's our top 15. LSU 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3, Miami 4, UGA 5, Oregon 6, Clemson 7, Texas 8, UF, the Gators 9, FSU 10, Notre Dame 11, South Carolina 12, Michigan 13, Illinois 14, and Arizona State 15. Drop your comments down below. Let us know who would be in your top 15 if you made your power rankings heading into week 2. All right. Week 2, baby. Not as sexy as week 1, but damn it, it's college football. And we're excited to talk about it. The big one, and this is a big one. This is a good game. Oklahoma was probably just outside our top 15, probably 16 or 17 in my mind. Michigan is our number 13 team. Michigan going on the road with a true freshman quarterback against Venables and that defense and that defensive line. I'll give it to you first, EMAC. Kind of what are your first thoughts as we get ready for this matchup?
Yeah, super excited to see this just because of Bryce Underwood, primarily. And then you've got my boy BV, over at Oklahoma, and just the talent, the roster that they've assembled. You've got Jim Nagy there as your general manager, former Senior Bowl executive, and, just how he kind of acquires talent, looks at talent. I think that's a match made in heaven. But, you get John Mateer, and then all the pieces kind of surround around that. So this quarterback battle is fantastic. You got the old vet that people are really excited about. Then you got the new kid on the block that, man, after that game or during that game where we first saw him in live action, Twitter was on fire. Everybody's just like, man, this guy is an absolute freak. And he is. I mean, he is a huge dude with a rocket launcher arm. What I love the most, which you don't really see this typically from super young guys. He was very decisive. I mean, he was going boom, there's my guy. Boom, and making a decision, not hesitating, not scrambling around trying to out athlete everybody, which I'm sure he could for a long time as he's been playing, but making quick decisions. And for me, kind of, how I want to pivot this back to you, just what is your mindset as a young guy? You have that, starter game, kind of a preseason game. We kept score, we kept the record, but then you got this next. And I think that's good. You got some confidence. Your offensive coordinator's like, okay, let's go. Because I don't want them to be conservative like we did see with Arch and with Julian in the Texas-Ohio State game. Do you think that build trust for that offensive coordinator to say, hey, let's let it rip, let him be him?
Well, I think it did 100%. I think that's the biggest thing that jumped off the tape to me too, watching Bryce Underwood, was the anticipation. Like, that usually takes a long time to kind of build of, hey man, I get to my third step, ball's out now. I mean, we talked about it, and I did some stuff with quarterback breakdowns this week where you see guys that have played that were still struggling with timing, that were still struggling with, what am I seeing defensively? Am I trusting my eyes? Am I trusting my progressions? Am I just letting it rip? And there was, like, I think 1 or 2 times I remember watching this game for Michigan, their first game, where he threw the football and the receiver was not ready. And I remember that. I always remember this from Coach Reed. And he always told the receivers this when I was in Kansas City: you are on the quarterback's timing. It is your job to if you have to shorten your route by a yard, you got to shorten your route by a yard. But the quarterback's feet are going to dictate to him when he needs to release the football. And obviously, as a quarterback, we can, cheat it at times. We could do a slower 5 or deeper 5. We could do a hitch, but still, like, our timing with our feet, because it's a West Coast offense. Our feet tell us when to throw the football, when to get to number 2, when to get to number 3, when to get the check down, and when to run. And Bryce's footwork in that first game was just like that. It was bam, I see it. My footwork's telling me to throw the football. I'm throwing it. And that's going to tell the guys around him, his receivers, his tight ends, his running backs, I got to play on his timing, because he's playing at an elevated level right now when it comes to that, which was, for a young guy making his first start, big time impressed. But going back to your question, Mac, it's tough because you want to protect him a little bit. And I think the way Justice Hayes ran in the first game, 159 yards,
definitely helps.
You can trust him, but you are going against a really good Oklahoma defensive front. And can you bully those guys around? Can you just run the football? So I think it's a balance of feeling it out a little bit, getting him on the move because he can throw well on the run. But I do think that you saw enough good things from him, yes, against a lesser opponent, where you can't hold back. And I remember, I mean, listen, I'm not calling out my boy Bobo here real quick, but I remember I had a really good first game my freshman year, redshirt freshman year. Second game versus South Carolina, I played well, but I did feel like we were kind of protecting me, and we ended up losing the football game.
Oh, man.
And I just think that, dude, you're getting paid a lot of money. I think that's a big deal too. You showed a lot of good stuff. So I would lean to be a little bit more aggressive, and not wait to the second half like we saw with Notre Dame in their game this past weekend.
What kind of indicators, now that obviously you had an unbelievable career, you've been on the analyst side, you've been around unbelievable coaches. What would dictate that, I guess? Like, why would Bobo hold you back versus why would this guy let, Bryce go crazy? What kind of proves that you need to do one or the other?
Well, I think it's who are we playing? What do we anticipate our defense doing against that team? And do we need to press it early? I think that's a big thing too. It's like, do we feel like our defense going against Oklahoma's offense and their offensive line and a new quarterback? Yeah, he knows the system because came over with the OC from Washington State. But do we feel like our defense matches up well enough where we can just kind of keep this game in a bubble a little bit early on? Kind of, first couple rounds, get a couple jabs in there and not feel like the game's going to get out of control. That way we can ease him into the game. So I don't know, man. Like, as I tweeted this and I was not BSing at all. He is one of the most gifted freshman quarterbacks that I have ever seen on tape. I mean, one of the most gifted. Anticipation, arm strength, the accuracy. He checked off a lot of boxes. Not saying he's going to be perfect all year, because no one's going to be perfect all year, especially a young kid. But man, it's hard if I'm an OC not to say, like, I want to put him in this bubble and I want to kind of feel out the game, but I also want to win, and I want to trust this kid a little bit too.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think some of it, practice can only get you so far, right? Like,
Yes.
you can see great habits, you can see great things, but you have to see it when it matters. You have to see it when if a mistake's making, there are big ramifications. And I think having that week one that they did certainly will allow that. Now it's just kind of what can you earn in this game? How can you show that you can make the right decision? And guess what? The right decision might be throwing it away. The right decision might be just taking that sack, not making it worse, holding and protecting the football, and then we move on and we deal with that situation. A lot of people think the right decision is forcing it. Oh, he made the right decision. He threw between two guys. That was it. No, no, no. Don't make a bad thing worse. Coach Rick used to say that all the time. Do not make a bad situation worse. Do not exacerbate anything there. And again, that might have a tendency to happen because you're going against this Brett Venables defense and the
Well, I
things
think
that
also
he's
too
doing.
from a mindset from Underwood as well, it's understanding that you've probably been a superstar your entire life.
Correct.
You've probably rarely had bad games, and throwing 55 to 60% for 180 yards and a touchdown or 2 and winning could still be a good game and still win it
100%.
to you in this
Yeah.
type of ball game. So
Yeah.
I think that for some quarterbacks, you're telling me that I didn't throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, like, that's not a good game. Like, no, no,
Right.
no, no. Just do what it takes to win the damn football
Exactly.
game, Bryce.
Exactly.
That's all you
Exactly.
gotta do. Do what it takes to win the football game. It's shifting your mentality from stats to winning. I ain't worried about stats.
Correct.
I'm worried about winning, and if
Correct.
winning means checking it down, winning means, to your point, throwing it out of bounds, that's how the great quarterbacks really good quarterbacks become great quarterbacks.
No, 100%. And speaking of Brent Venables, let's go to his team a little bit here, specifically looking at this quarterback because I love this matchup. It's like the present versus the future, and maybe Bryce is the present right now. We'll see. We'll see what happens after this game. But John Mateer looked fantastic. I think we were both really excited about him coming in, super excited about what he did afterwards. There was some inconsistencies. We talked to some people, which we might talk to some more people about, some of the offensive line play and establishing the run and how do you do that. But hey, at the end of the day, you're paying this guy this much money. You got him here. I'm fine with letting him let it rip. And if he wants to be involved in the run game, sure, let's figure that out too. But what was your, I guess, just observation with this offense and maybe something you want to see more coming into this game?
Well, I thought he looked great. I mean, and I was not doubting that he would come in there with a lot of confidence. I thought the receivers looked obviously significantly better than they were a year ago with Lewis and Burks. He was letting it rip. It was the same thing we talked about timing with Michigan and their quarterback. It was I hit my back step and that ball's out now. He doesn't have the same pop as Bryce does, but accurate with the football. A couple ones died a little bit towards the outside. That just shows you that the arm strength is good, not elite, but still can make all the throws. To me, it's the run game and the inability to get going. Only 3.2 yards per carry
Which was
against a
weird.
lesser opponent.
Yeah,
And I
strange.
know that you didn't have maybe your top 5 guys out there, and they're going to get their top 5 guys this week. But I don't care if you have 3 or 4 of your top guys going against that defense. 3.2 yards per carry, EMAC, is just not good enough at all. So that's where I'm watching. It's like, yeah, you can throw the football, but this is a good Michigan defense, and if you're one-dimensional, I'm not saying you gotta go out there and run for 150 to 200, but I think LSU is a perfect example. Wasn't a stellar running game, but it was 108 yards against a good defense, and they stuck to it. And that's what I need to see. I can't see a game where you're only run for 80, 90 yards and it's 3 yards per carry. Like that ain't gonna get it done for
Well, and
Michigan.
it just you become so predictable, and that puts you in a bad spot, puts you in a really tough spot when I know that we know you can't run. That's not good. And so, how do you try to reestablish that? Do you get creative with Ott? Do you get him out in space? Because I think that's the ticket. Again, you go out and get a guy that has a lot of expectation. You have to use him to the best of his ability. Is that outside zone? Is it sweeps? Is it just tossing him the ball, letting him create out in space? If you don't feel good about that interior, you got to find it in different ways. You have to still establish, something else to keep the defense off guard, to not just allow them to tee off and not just expect that. And you brought up the wide receivers when we were kind of talking about this. I thought they looked great for Oklahoma. And they're nice. They're a really good piece. This defense, though, I think has a chance to be really special. You look at that D line that's kind of led by R. Mason there, a guy that was freaky last year. He's going to build upon it this year. And then the depth, yeah, that's something that you really like just in general for this D line.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to rotate that D-line position and not really lose anything from going 1 to 2 and keeping those guys fresh as they try to chase around Bryce Underwood, as they try to slow down Justice Hayes, the new running back there at Michigan. So yeah, I love this defense. I think Venables, too, like Bryce Underwood going on the road for the first time. That place is going to be loud. It's going to be intimidating. You got Venables, elite defensive line, elite defense from top to bottom. What Venables does schematically as well on top of that. So like that's why like I sit back and say like, do I trust Oklahoma's offense right now? I'm still wait and see. Because of the run game, I like Mateer, I like the receivers, but you got to have a little bit more balance for me. But I love the defense. I love the schematics, and I love the fact that you're going against a freshman quarterback that's going to see a pretty advanced defense for the first time in his career on the road there in Norman. So I think Oklahoma wins this game. I think it's a close game though, because I like Michigan's defense still, and I still think Bryce is going to be able to make some plays that are going to be like, whoa, like we see how talented this young man is. So, but I lean on the veteran quarterback and John Mateer, the veteran defense, and the fact that you're at home in this football game.
I'm right there with you, and I think we keep bringing up Coach Venable's defense. I mean, you played against it. I went against it in practice every single day. It's exotic. It's confusing. They disguise it. They send everybody. It's just a thing where he's going to force you to make a decision probably quicker than you want to, one way or the other, with the coverage rotations, with the post-snap switches, things of that nature. And that's a lot for a young kid to take on the road as well. And so I think that ends up being the biggest factor. I think Bryce is going to be outstanding and grow up to be, a first-round draft pick, all those different things. But he might struggle in this game. And listen, Oklahoma's favored by 5.5. I feel comfortable with that. I think they win by a touchdown or a little bit more at home, and that's a big deal for them. That's going to be a huge piece. And so give me the Sooners to cover. And but ultimately, I think it's going to be a fun fight. It might be a touchdown late. It might be something they pull away with. But I am interested to see the chess match between arguably the best defensive coordinator ever, who's now their head coach, and this young freshman, to see how he handles it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game for Venables to kind of get going. I know it's not an SEC game, but still they need some confidence as they get ready for their SEC slate. All right, that's the first game. Let's move on. Illinois, Duke. And EMAC, I'll start here. I was watching Duke film last night from the weekend.
Tell me, baby.
And I love the offense. Obviously, we knew Mensah was going to be special, had a great year a year ago. I actually have Duke Tulane next weekend, which I'm really excited.
Nice. The little homecoming for Mensah going back.
I know.
Sure, Coach Summerall can't wait.
So I think kind of selfishly right now as a broadcaster, I'm hoping Duke wins because obviously there's more excitement with a bigger game and if they beat Illinois. But I'm telling you, man, like watching that offense with Mensah and then the speed at the receiving position from Keyshawn Brown, Jaquez Moore, Cooper, obviously more of that possession guy on the outside too, but or Jaquez more at the running spot position, excuse me. But just like the speed overall from the receivers to even more having a little bit of wiggle and some speed to it, that running back spot. I was like, I love this offense, man. And I don't know a lot about the offense line. I'll lean more on you for that one. But between Mensah and the skill, I walked away saying like this offense can score some points, even against a really good Illinois defense.
Correct. It's a good team. And I think when you talk about that speed, physicality on defense, size, like that's something we did not used to say about Duke, right? Like it was never a thing. It was never impressive. And now, I think because of what they've done there, the guys that they've brought in, and specifically what Coach David Feely has done in that weight room, I mean, he's producing monsters. He's producing really, really fun guys that go out there and make plays. And when you talk about Duke this year, you cannot help but start with Mensah. Like that guy is so fun. He's so confident, like talking to him in person at media day, he understands he's getting paid a lot of money. He understands that there's a lot on his shoulders, and he's fine with that. That's why he made this decision, to come here and to lead this team and what Duke means to him. And so I love when he's off schedule. That might happen a lot, with this Illinois team and the pressure they're going to build and the challenge defensively that they are going to be. But he said, that's when I'm at my best. When I can get out in space, when I can create, that's another level of my game. And that's what Duke did not have last year and still somehow won 9 games. And so I think that's going to be a big factor. He is going to have to be Superman like Tommy Castellanos had to be Superman against Florida State, against Alabama. That's what he's going to have to do. And I think he's cool with that. I think he likes that. And so having that relief from your receivers, if you can establish, some type of really consistent run game with Jaquez, that's great. But I think he's fine throwing at 40 plus and saying, let's
Mhm.
go. And can you win that? Certainly. You're at home. The environment's going to be sweet. It's sold out. We'll be there. I'm excited to add that juice
How
to it.
loud does Duke get sold out?
Like, I
I
mean,
mean, come on,
come on.
let's
What are we talking about? What are we
how
talking
loud how
about?
loud does Duke
I mean,
get sold out?
it's cool, man. It's cool to play in front of. I don't know if we're like saying it's loud. I don't think anybody's like super concerned. But and there'll probably be a lot of little bit of orange there too, I'm sure. But
I was
I'm
thinking about him,
excited to
like, the
see.
thing I love about him
Why
I
you
talk
got to
about
come
Jeremy
at Duke,
Mensah here.
man? Come on, they're all right. They don't have the track anymore.
Okay, they were the track. Okay,
Track's
there we
gone. It
go.
looks
That's
great.
smart.
It's a great
That's
facility.
smart. Um, I love his ability to throw to going both sides. There's a lot
Yeah,
of quarterbacks that, "Hey, I just wanna throw it on the right. I just wanna roll me out to the right, coach. Roll me out to the right." But it really keeps a defense on balance, especially as a defense watches film, because a lot of times, like, oh, like, if we can pressure a guy this way and force him to go to his left, if you're right at quarterback, then we got him. Mensah feels very comfortable watching the tape, throwing to both directions, and looks good doing it as well. Like, they were scripting plays for him to boot
right.
to the left. I mean, that is as a defense, you're like, "Okay, like, where can I put pressure on this athletic
Exactly.
quarterback?" It's gotta be more up the middle in his face, and then kind of obviously keep the edges well. But if you allow him to get outside the pocket left or right, he can
You're in
beat you with
trouble.
his legs,
You're in trouble.
and obviously he can beat you with his arm as well too. Um, that's a lot on their offense. I'm gonna lean a little bit more for you on just on their defense. Talk to me a little bit about Duke, their defense, and then we'll get over to Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, this is an elite unit, right? I mean, they were amongst one of the best in the country last year, stopping the run, forcing turnovers. I mean, they just get after it. And Chandler Rivers, he's the guy. And it's funny, if he walked into the room right now and you saw him, you'd be like, what? What do you mean? He is a little dude, but he is tenacious and he gets after. He's an All-American, preseason All-American. I believe was a first team All-American last year, but just like a Tasmanian devil, like, right, he's great in coverage. He'll get the football, take it away. And he loves to blitz. He's such a teeny guy, but he finds a way to get home, finds a way to take over games, and he's a fun ball player. So that's kind of where it starts. And then you've got guys on the edge like Vincent Anthony and others that are just big guys that have nice moves, really athletic there. And I think that they are going to want to confuse them, right? Like you've got Manny Diaz, who I think is one of the best head coaches defensive guys. Like we always talk about offensive guys, and there's so many of them at the head coach position, Mike Norvell, being one. But when I see Manny, like he gets him going and he just comes in everywhere he goes. You saw what he did at Miami. That didn't work out for whatever reason. He goes up to Penn State, has one of the best units in the country. Comes down to Duke last year, has one of the best units in the entire country. He just gets it done. And these guys believe in him. They trust him. And, defensively, this is going to be a tall task. And the physicality point, I think, not that it'll surprise you because it shouldn't. This is a good team, but it might surprise Illinois when they walk in there and start playing.
All right, let's get to Illinois a little bit. Luke Altmaier, I thought had a great start last week. Kind of the big thing heading into the season was how do they replace their receivers, Pat Bryant, Zachariah Franklin. Looks like Hank Beatty's going to be that new number one guy. 5 catches, 108 yards in week one. They got a strong offensive line, running back, veteran quarterback, and you look at the defense too. Gabe uh, uh, Jacas, I think is the last time I pronounce it. All-American, had 2 sacks last week to kind of get things going in there. They're just a very veteran football team with a veteran quarterback. Obviously, this is going to be the first big test to see how those receivers look like on the outside. Yeah, they were heading into my season. They were kind of my dark horse to be very competitive to get to the Big Ten championship. But man, like I still worry. I know Luke had a good year last year. I talk about the veteran. I like him. I still think he's a good quarterback. I wouldn't necessarily label Luke as like an elite top-notch guy. He leans on his experience, he's accurate with the football, but is he good enough with a new receiving core against that defense on the road to go out there and have himself a football game? That's what I worry about. I feel like they're gonna have to lean more on this defense, figuring out ways to slow down Mensah.
Right. And that's what good teams do, right? They go on the road, they feel it out, they make it happen. This is an interesting game. When you look at the points, I'm trying to scroll to it right here. When you see it, it's 2.5 favored to the road team, Illinois. I'm a homer. I'm going with the ACC. I should have done it against Bama. I think Mensah Mania finds a way. I think they win this thing. So I'm gonna take Duke money line. Don't even give me points. Give me money line with the
I made
Dukies.
it. I'm doing this for numerous reasons. One, like I was super impressed watching the tape. I know slow start, 10-10 and a half last week. But then once that offense got really clicking and Got going with a new quarterback, 35 points there in the second half. I think they are rolling. They're feeling themselves. I'm going to trust you with what that defense looks like because I know what I saw and the speed I saw in that offense. And plus, I have them next week, so I do want them to win a
Need
little
them
bit
to
too.
win, baby.
So I need them to win to make my game even better. So I'm gonna roll with Duke too. And I'm telling you, like yesterday before I put on the tape, I was like Illinois, 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 just with kind of understanding what Illinois was heading into the season. But I think Duke has what it takes to win this football game. So both of us got Duke with the money line. All right. Next big one. Baylor. Gotta
We both were
figure it
high
out
on.
after not
Yikes.
getting
Whoops.
smoked at home versus Auburn, taking on SMU and Kevin Jennings. I'll start first with Baylor a little bit. And listen, I still thought Sawyer Robinson looked good against Auburn. I still like their offense. Michael Trigg is a tremendous tight end. You saw what he did and the ways that he could exploit a defense down the field from a tight end position. I'm not worried about their offense. I think their offense is going to be really good and they're going to score points. When your defense gives up 307 yards on the ground and 137 of them to a quarterback, that's a problem. That is a problem. I know SMU maybe is not as run heavy or want to run as much as what Auburn put on tape, and maybe they're not as physical as what Auburn's offensive line is, but 307 yards is 307 yards. SMU is going to say, we're going to try to run the same football until you prove that we can't. So I'm interested to see what Dave Aranda does defensively. Does he play a little bit more single high, put an extra player in the box as they try to figure out how to slow down the run game?
Yeah. How good of a passer do you think that cat was? Jackson Arnold. Like, if they would have done that, do you think he could light them up through the air last week?
I think Jackson started off slow, but he had some good throws down. And I think the receivers are elite for Auburn.
Yeah. I agree with you there.
Would you rather get killed by 100 sword slices or just one, gunshot to the head? Yeah. And I think, you go single high versus Auburn's offense, you may give up a 50-yard post route or a go ball. That's how good they are on the outside. So I get what their mentality was, but you just still that was
a lot of yards. That's a lot
going against the run. So you got to change something up.
Yeah. And that's what I'm just interested. If you do change it up, now, I don't think their receivers are as talented as Auburn's, but I think their quarterback is significantly better. I mean, I like KJ a lot, and we're seeing him grow and him way more confident, in his team and his abilities and the thing that he brings to the table. And he's way more athletic, I think, in regards to as a runner. But do they want to do that? Do they want to use him, in that nature? Goes back to what you said about Bryce earlier. Just do what it takes to win the game, whatever that is. If you want me to run it 10 times, you want me to throw it 50 times, I'll do what you really ask of me. But I think that Rhett Lashley is one of the best in the game, offensive mind-wise. And the way that he thinks, his offense is so fun. I would love to play in an offense like that where it's RPO heavy. They're going to take some shots and they're going to run the football. And so I think that puts you in a real bind. And you've got tons of young talent. I mean, there's 3 freshmen, 10, 11, and 45. Look out for them. They are burners. They are really fun to watch on the edge. Great wide receivers that make big time plays. And then, a running back room that, Aaron, they went out and got 3 other guys to kind of add with what they had there. And, just to see who steps up. Do they want one guy to emerge? Do they want to stay with kind of a revolving door? Last year with Brashard Smith, I mean, he was it. That's all they had. And he ran for 1,400 yards. I mean, that was really impressive. And certainly they can go to that. So, I think that combined with a really powerful elite tight end room, you've got options, to sling this ball around, and you're going to have some mismatch problems and issues here. They're favored at home. That place is going to be packed out. It's going to be fun time in Dallas. I'm also rocking with the Ponies here, to cover and to make a statement.
I like Baylor. I think Baylor bounces back. I think this offense is going to take advantage of some youth that SMU has in the secondary.
I'm a little worried about those corners. I
love Sawyer Robertson, that receiving core and Trigg. So I think the offense is going to have themselves an afternoon, and I think the defense makes the corrections necessary. Dave Aranda is too good on that side of the football to allow what happened against Auburn to bite him in the butt back-to-back weeks. So I think it's going to be a great game, competitive game.
Sure.
But I think Baylor figures out a way to win.
All right, we're flip-flopping a little bit. I like this. We were holding hands with our picks, so I like that we're moving around. Let's do this because you need to leave. We've got a couple more games. Let's just kind of flip-flop and go. I'll take Iowa State here. physical game of war, guys that don't like each other. When you look at this, I love Rocco Beck. I think that he is a great player. I think that he had a really fun first game to kind of remind people, and then just was near perfect, right, last week. And the things that he does, the things that he brings to the table. Iowa's offense is what it is. It always stinks. They can't ever do anything. Can you stop the run
Did
if
you
you're Iowa
see
State?
Mark Rokowski last week?
No. Well, how bad was it?
Oh my God. I'm watching it last night.
Efficient wise. Yeah. I didn't know if you were talking
Well,
about
not
one
even like
particular
efficient,
play.
like obviously 8 of
Yeah.
15, 44 yards, 2.9 yards average. I mean, that
Yeah.
is as bad as you can get. I mean, the dude won back-to-back national champs for South Dakota State, so you think
Right.
there's a little bit more juice. But man, he's rolling out to his right in the red zone. Guys wide open in the end zone. I mean, wide open. Wide open. He skips it about 8 yards in front of the dude.
Oh,
Skips it.
yeah, it's hard, man.
And I'm just like, same old Iowa,
Yeah.
baby.
That's what they do.
Same old
That's what
offensively. I
they
mean, you're
do.
gonna have to just rely on Xavier Williams,
Yeah.
impressing his first game there with 122 yards, but still, like, if you can't with a balance, and I know Iowa's never balanced, and they always rely on the defense, they always rely on the
Right.
run game,
Right.
but I just don't know if the run game is as good. I don't know if the defense is as good as years past to say you can balance or rely on that. I like Iowa State. I love Rocco Beck. Solid first game we saw there in Ireland, and then he goes 9 of 20 last week with 3 touchdowns. And I don't think the defense needs to worry about the pass. That defense can just load the box. Like put 9 guys in there. Go cover 0.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what happened in that first game for Iowa last week does not scare me whatsoever against the pass game. So I just think Iowa State's good enough defensively, and I love what they can do on the offside of the football with Rocco Beck. I think Iowa State wins this one handily.
Yeah, I do too. I think they make that happen. They surely cover and make some interesting things. The border war. You were so excited about this one. I'm getting out of the way. I'll add a little color, but tell me about this border war that you love here, brother.
Well, I mean, obviously, I had Missouri last week, team that's overlooked, back-to-back 10-win seasons,
Yeah.
double-digit win seasons. Again, no love. And Bo Prabula looked great. I know it was against whoever the hell it was, but still, like, that was a really good performance. The arm, the legs, pushing down the field. Ahmad Hardy is going to be one of the premier running backs in the SEC. The offense line's got to get better. There's no doubt about it. I walk away saying O-line's got to get better. But really, the receivers look good. Ahmad looked good, and Bo Prabula looked really good as well. And that's a great defense. They're fast at all 3 levels. And that front with Damon Wilson, Darius Smith, and Zion Young, I mean, they're going to have a tall task because Jalen Daniels looks like the best of Jalen Daniels right now.
Good.
Playing football.
Good.
I mean,
man, I remember a couple years ago,
he looked the part.
We're all so excited, and then he just, can't stay on the field. He's injured and can't get going. He has the necklace with his highlight reel on, all these different things. And we're like, okay, here we go. It's showtime. So that's great to hear. And he's been playing, it feels like forever. This guy's been in college football. He's a game changer. I mean, he's a dark horse Heisman type guy if he's fully ready to go.
No, he is. And then I like the running back, Highshaw, veteran guy, also senior, has a good burst to him. Henderson on the outside's got some good lanes. So I think this offense is going to be very challenging. But like I said, the thing for Missouri is they have the speed and size. They went into the portal. They got Trotter at linebacker. They got Damon Wilson there on the edge. I think they're going to be able to handle and manage Jalen from an athletic standpoint to contain him, to force him to be consistent throwing the football, which he can. Jalen can win a game throwing the football from inside the pocket, but he wants to be able to do all of it. And I think they're going to be able to say, no. Your little butt's going to stay right here in this little 3-yard box, and you're going to have to beat us from here. I think that's how good they are on the edges, and that's how fast they are the first 2 levels for Missouri. So I do like Missouri at home. I thought I saw enough from Bo Prabula last week to say this dude's legit. He's pretty damn good, and obviously he's athletic as well, so I like Missouri.
Yeah, they're 6.5-point favorites at home. Drink probably feels disrespected, feels like they should be ranked, feels like his team's not being spoken about enough. Do they try to make a statement here? Outside of the SEC against another power conference, do they want to do that? And certainly I think they win by a touchdown. So I'm right there with you. Give me Missouri to cover and to make some noise. This next game, I am fascinated to see. Virginia Tech hosting Vanderbilt. And as you said, or have in our notes here, this ain't your normal Vandy team, all right?
Nope.
It's a team that just hammered Alabama a year ago. This is a team that pretty much owned SEC Media Day. Diego
Beat Georgia
Pavia.
Tech in the bowl game, which I was shocked. I was
Right.
on that call. I
Same.
thought Georgia Tech was going to
Yeah,
win.
same. Diego Pavia just carried a mic around Media Day and just was the star of the show everywhere he went. You've got, a team in Virginia Tech that showed some promise, still kind of pissed me off the way they played offense, but I thought the defense was much better. You're at Lane Stadium, which I don't know if you've ever played there. It's one of the best environments in college football. They're doing inner sandman and going berserk that entire time. That's going to be a difference maker. That's going to be a challenge, which obviously Diego is very much used to playing in the SEC. But I think that defense is going to have a good plan. They got the warm-up game. You lost it, but the warm-up game with Lenore Sellers, and you hit them a lot. Got to him 4 times, hit him a bunch more than that, had 7, 8, 9 tackles for loss. Take this game plan and instrument it right here, and let's make it better. And then just, can I get more from the offense? I don't know. I need to see it. Kyron,
That's a problem.
take the step, brother. I know you can. Maybe it's a comfort thing. Maybe it was, South Carolina was just that good on defense, which they lost a lot. I didn't think they were going to be that good. Well, I'm interested to see how this ends up.
Listen, I said this is not your grandma's Vanderbilt, or even the Vanderbilt that I played against a couple of times. We were pretty good. This is a legit football team, man, and they're playing with confidence, and they returned a lot of guys from that team last year. So now they believe in themselves. They believe in their quarterback, Diego. I like Alexander running back spot. They got one of the best tight ends and Sowers in the country. Cheryl. I mean, they have skill. So this isn't just a one-man show with Diego. This is, hey, I got a quarterback that can win games both with his arm and his legs. We have good skill around him. We have a good defense. And we have a belief system now too in what we've done. So I think that, to me, I think it goes on the road. There's less questions about this football team where I do look at Virginia Tech and I say, yes, I believe you that the defense could be good. But what I saw from that offense, there's still a lot to work through. And I think this Vanderbilt defense can go on the road with a mobile quarterback, a good running game, and a good defense and win against Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
So I got Vanderbilt.
It breaks my heart. I don't want to hear that. I want my guys to defend their home turf, but just from the offense, I need to see more. I need to see you push the ball downfield. I love what I saw, from the receivers when they were given a chance and they were able to make plays for you. How do we do that more? How do we get it going? And then from Kyron running the ball, like more power, more counter. Let's go. Like, let's figure that out. Let's use your ability there. What do I want to do here? What's important? Do I want to pick the team that I like? Do I want to stay above the rankings and kill Aaron? I'm going to go Virginia Tech. This will be a separator game.
Okay.
This will be a separator where I can get another leg up on you. I'm going to take the Hokies here.
Come on, Vandy.
I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to take the Hokies here. I'm going to take the Hokies.
All right, last one real quick. USF going against Florida. I'll start with Florida first real quick. DJ, super, super rusty a week ago. I mean, super rusty early on.
You were really high on him. Were you shocked by that?
I am.
He was injured all camp, it sounded like. So
yeah, he didn't play all spring, all fall. I mean, camp-wise, that was a good knock the rust off game for him. You talk about who needs a game like that. He did. And it wasn't all bad. It just wasn't to the level that I expect DJ to play at. So I think he's going to come back the second game. He's too good not to come out and be electric. And then Jaden Ball, what a freaking monster that dude is. That offensive line with Jaden Ball, USF ain't going to see anyone like that all year. I mean, they could pan the ball off to him for 40 times and they would dominate the football game. But I do like USF. I was impressed, man, what they did against Boise State. Alex Golish, third season there, had the majority of their football team back. Quarterback Byron Brown, you talk about physical. He's a big kid, 6'3", 230. He looks for contact. I mean, looks for contact running the football. I mean, he was running guys over. He was stiff-arming dudes. I was like, damn, this guy can run. The release is a little bit long. He's an okay thrower. I think that Florida's kind of licking their chops in secondary. Like, man, this dude winds up like a baseball pitcher. We're going to have some opportunities to jump some passes, but he's strong and he's a physical runner and he can make some plays on third down in the red zone. And I like the defense for USF. They were hitting. They didn't miss a lot of tackles. They were flying around. So I think Alex has a good football team. I just think Florida's roster is just, they're better. And I think DJ is going to come out there with that rust knocked off and have himself a ball game against the Bulls. So I think that it's going to be a fun one to see of DJ and Jaden Ball really get going with this offense.
It's a big number. It's 17.5. Are you confident Florida covers that? You taking Florida to cover?
I would say yes. I think they're going to get some picks. I think I said that release from Brown's a little bit too long where I think Florida can take advantage.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. This ain't Boise State. Okay, this is the Gators, and the Gators are feeling good. And I like what you said about the Russ game. I'm right there with you. I think they cover. I think they make it early, that they kind of show everybody's excited about this South Florida team. Not today. I don't think they do that. I love Coach though. Think he's building. Think he's doing some great things.
Well, they have a chance in their conference to win, no doubt about it.
Which is a huge deal. Huge deal.
Group of 5 teams this year.
Yeah.
From what I saw, is going to be USF.
But
all right, well, that's it for our show. Oh, we forgot to say too, we are on anywhere you catch your podcasts. Go get us. It's not just on YouTube anymore. So, Apple, Spotify, go give us a comment. Obviously, rate, review, all that good stuff. We appreciate it as we continue to grow. This is our second week doing it. We're excited to be with you every single week of the college football season.
Okay.